Someone slid you a pitch deck, called your code a competitive advantage, and said, let's build this together. And something in you thought, yes, this is it. This is the one. I have been building software for over a decade. I have been a CTO, a solo founder, and yes, a technical co-founder, more than once. And across all of that, I have noticed a pattern. The people who go into technical co-founder roles are almost always engineers who are very good at their craft, reasonably ambitious, and almost completely unprepared for what that role actually is. Not because they are naive, because nobody tells them. The startup content machine is obsessed with fundraising wins and acquisition announcements. Nobody is making videos about the 18 months before that, when you are debugging production at midnight, attending investor calls at 7 a.m., and slowly realizing you have not written code you are proud of in 6 months. So this is that video. 6 things nobody tells you before you take on a technical co-founder role. Some of these I learned early. Some I learned the hard way. All of them are real. Let's start with the most uncomfortable one, because it sets up everything else. Your equity split is decided before you know what you're worth. Here is how it usually goes. You meet a non-technical founder. They have an idea. It is not bad. They need someone to build it. You are excited. There is a conversation, fairly early, about splitting the company. Maybe 50-50. Maybe 60-40 in their favor because, as they will carefully explain, they have already done so much work on this. And you agree, because you do not yet know how central you are about to become to every single thing that happens next. 3 months in, you are the product, the infrastructure, the security, the DevOps pipeline, the technical interviews, the architecture decisions, and the person who gets paged when AWS sends an alert at 3 a.m. Your co-founder is doing important work too: sales, strategy, relationships. But you are carrying the entire technical surface area of the company on your back. The equity conversation happened before you understood any of this, before you had leverage, before you knew what you were actually signing up for. Vesting schedules with Cliff's help, but they do not fix an equity split that was wrong from day one. Have that conversation later than feels comfortable. You will thank yourself. Here is one that catches almost everyone off guard, no matter how many times people say it out loud. You will stop being an engineer faster than you think. When you join as a technical co-founder, you tell yourself you will stay close to the code. You will be a hands-on CTO. You have seen the other kind, the ones who drift into pure management and lose the plot technically. And you have sworn you will not become that. 6 months in, your calendar looks like this. Monday, investor call. Tuesday, hiring interviews for 2 back-end roles. Wednesday, a product sprint planning session that takes 3 hours because nobody can agree on scope. Thursday, a customer call because your co-founder wants you there for technical credibility. Friday, you open your IDE for the first time all week, get 20 minutes into a feature, and get pulled into a Slack thread about a production incident. This is not failure. This is the job. The technical co-founder role at an early stage startup is not a senior engineering role with extra steps. It is a leadership, communication, and decision-making role that occasionally lets you write code. The sooner you accept that, the sooner you can get good at the actual job instead of grieving the one you thought you were getting. Number 3, and this one has teeth. Technical debt is a founder's problem, not just an engineering problem. Every engineer knows what technical debt is. You make shortcuts to move fast, and those shortcuts accumulate into a slow tax on everything you do later. As a regular engineer, you flag it, you put it in the backlog, maybe you fight for a refactor sprint occasionally. As a technical co-founder, technical debt becomes your problem in a completely different way. Because now you are the one choosing to take it on. You are in the room when the decision is made to skip proper auth implementation to hit a demo deadline. You are the one who says, yes, we will use a managed service now and migrate later, knowing full well that later may never come. And then 6 months on, you are pitching to a Series A investor who asks about your infrastructure architecture. And you are doing a very careful verbal dance around the fact that your entire backend is a single Node.js monolith running on one EC2 instance with no automated tests and a deployment process that involves someone manually checking in. the debt you took on was a business decision. You own it. Build with that awareness from day one, or it will become the story of your startup. Moving on. And I say this with love, because it is just true. Your non-technical co-founder will never fully understand what you do. This is not a criticism of non-technical founders. It is structural. They cannot feel the weight of a poorly designed database schema the way you do. They do not understand why migrating from a REST API to GraphQL is not a weekend job. They genuinely believe, in their hearts, that if it worked last Tuesday, it should work this Tuesday. So what happens is this. You spend a significant portion of your energy not building things, but translating. Explaining why something takes 3 weeks. Justifying why you need to hire a DevOps engineer before another front-end developer. Defending a technology choice to someone whose mental model of technology was formed during a 2-day crash course in product thinking. The fix is not to wish they understood more, though they should try. The fix is to get extremely good at communicating in outcomes and risk, not in technical detail. Do not tell them the Redis cache is causing a race condition under load. Tell them, if we do not fix this before we hit 10,000 users, the whole thing falls over and we lose the enterprise contract. Speak their language. It is part of the job. This next one reframes something you probably thought you already understood. Hiring is now your most important engineering skill. As a software engineer, your leverage is your output. Your code, your architecture decisions, your ability to solve hard problems. As a technical co-founder, your leverage is your team, which means the most consequential technical decisions you will make are not about React versus Vue or Kubernetes versus ECS. They are about which engineers you bring into the building. One bad hire at an early stage startup does not just slow you down. It poisons the culture before you have a culture to speak of. It creates code that 3 people after them will spend months untangling. It introduces a dynamic into your founding team that is almost impossible to undo without someone leaving. And here is what makes it harder. Early stage means you are often hiring before you can offer competitive salaries. You are selling the vision, the equity, the learning curve. You will hire people who are a bet. Some bets pay off, some do not. But if you are not treating every technical hire as a high-stakes strategic decision, as important as any product choice or fundraise, you are leaving your biggest risk unmanaged. Get good at interviewing. Get good at reference checks. Get very good at knowing when someone is brilliant but wrong for where you are right now. And finally, the one nobody talks about at all. The psychological weight has no name and no manager. When you are an engineer at a company, there is a structure around you, a manager, a team, a process. When things go wrong, there is somewhere to put the stress. There is someone whose job it is to care about whether you are okay. As a technical co-founder, you are the structure. You are the someone. And the weight of that does not announce itself. It accumulates. It is the Sunday evening dread before a big week. It is the way you check your monitoring dashboards on your phone during dinner, not because something is broken, but because you cannot stop yourself. It is the quiet realization that you have not had a conversation with a friend that was not somehow about the startup in 4 months. Founder burnout is real. Technical founder burnout is real and specific, because you are carrying both the intellectual load of a senior engineer and the emotional load of an executive, simultaneously, with no peer in the organization who fully shares either experience. You have to be deliberate about this. Find other technical founders to talk to. Actually talk to them. Not to network, to decompress. Build the habit of stepping away before you need to, not after. The company cannot outlast you if you do not outlast the company. Here is the honest summary. Being a technical co-founder is one of the most demanding roles in the industry. Not because the engineering is harder than anywhere else, because the engineering is combined with leadership, communication, people management, business strategy, and a level of personal accountability that most job descriptions do not prepare you for. None of this means you should not do it. Some of the most interesting work I have ever done has been in founding teams. Building something from nothing with people who believe in it is genuinely unlike anything else. But go in clear-eyed. Know what you are signing up for before you sign anything. Negotiate your equity when you understand your leverage. Accept early that the role will change you, and take care of yourself with the same rigor you would apply to a production system, because you are the most critical piece of infrastructure in that company, and you are not as replaceable as you think. If this landed, drop a comment below. I want to know where you are in this journey. And if you know someone about to take the leap into a technical co-founder role, send them this first. You know what to do.